to take another minute or two to talk about some sales tools and some end user tools available to you. If you don't remember anything else today, oh, got a little skewed. You should remember that Access Hardware has a Try Me program available to you. If you're interested in trying a Schlage reader, they have 2 readers available as part of this Try Me program. One is the SXF 1050, which is the mini mullion Prox reader. It's one of our most popular Prox readers. So that's available as part of the Try Me program. And the SXF, the 1500, which is our multi-technology reader. Again, that one reads both Prox and Smart. It's our most popular reader actually overall. And really the idea behind it is to give you an opportunity to try one out on your system, particularly if you're using somebody else's technology, to give you an opportunity to see that it is a like-for-like replacement and to make sure that it works to your specifications in your application. The other advantage that the 1500 has is, again, because it does Prox and Smart, it's a great card reader to put in place when you're doing a replacement so that you have the ability to upgrade to smart cards in the future. So if you're interested in that, talk to Access Hardware and they'll supply you with a couple of Try Me readers for your application to go ahead and put in and try. And what they ask for in return, or more specifically what we're asking for in return, is that you guys give us an update on what's going on. How many did you put in? How did it work? What kind of doors did you put it on? Just so that we can kind of get a feel of where people are using them and what they're doing. And then just let us know what happens in the end. The other thing I wanted to point you to is our website. Schlage.com is probably the easiest way to get there. The longer webpage is securitytechnologies.ingersollrand.com. That's a lot of letters to type. I would just go to Schlage.com, select For Your Business. That'll get you to all of our commercial product offerings. And then in the product section, you can click Readers or Credentials to get to either the cards or the readers. But on the web pages, we're adding more and more tools for you every day. But we have obviously some brochures. There's an overview brochure that kind of talks to you about readers and credentials together. We also have our Credentials Knowledge Guide. We have data sheets on all the different readers that we talked about today. We have a credentials data sheet for Prox, one for Smart and one for multi-technology credentials. For those of you that might be doing design build jobs, or if you have to write a specification, we have sample specs for all of our readers and most of our cards, I think, online. So that makes your job a little bit easier if you're trying to write a spec. Those are all on our public website. And if you have any problems finding them, drop me an email or give me a call. Access Hardware folks can get you in touch with me. And then, because Smart technology and some of these technologies are new to a lot of people, we've put some technical white papers online. These aren't selling Schlage. They're about talking about the technologies and what the advantages are of the technologies. So if you're in a situation where you're trying to talk to your management about why you should migrate from Prox to Smart, these tools might be helpful to you. And then finally, the other thing is we have the card sample packs I mentioned. We brought a bunch today, but Access Hardware can get you some of these if you need to show them. Again, it just gives you the ability to kind of touch and feel and taste if you really want to eat it. So please take advantage of those tools.
So now we can move on to the next section, which is the AD series from Schlage. The AD series really represents the first time that Ingersoll Rand went back to their customer base, went to end users, went to integrators and distribution, and found out what was really demanded in the marketplace. And one of the biggest challenges that we found was that end users felt a hesitation to adopt electronic access control because they felt that it was going too fast. Prox cards, smart cards, the technologies keep evolving and keep changing. And a lot of end users were stopping from making a purchasing decision because once they bought something, that went on the door, it kind of locked them in. So what we did with the AD series is we actually went back, we interviewed, I think it was 800 end users, and really got the voice of the customer. And this was kind of some of the things we heard. Obsolescence, protecting the investment, that was one of the big ones. Complexity, to try to simplify it, making it a simple offering. And then somebody already has an access control system. They don't want to rip out panels and have to completely change everything they have existing. They want something that can easily slip into their existing framework. So we took those, those three basic concepts, and we developed the AD series. So this is kind of showing the different reader modules, but what we've done with the AD series is I don't really look at the AD series as a product launch. I see it as a platform launch, and it truly is a platform launch for Ingersoll Rand. We've created a platform that's adaptable. It's called the AD series because it's adaptable. If today you have a magstripe, system at your facility, you can have a magstripe reader. If tomorrow you need to change that out, you take that off with 2 screws from the back of the lock, you pop on a proximity or a smart card reader. And these readers are interchangeable on the locks. So we've created a modular design that anything today or in the future that, any reader technology that comes out, a new smart card technology, a new standard, we can develop a new module. As long as we can make it on this footprint, we can add it to the lock. So we've really made it, we've made a platform that can adapt with the changes in technology moving forward. And actually, speaking of that, this was the original, and you can see on this original picture, this is the magstripe reader right here. This was the original magstripe reader. The AD series was launched really at the beginning of this year. Since then, we've already launched another credential reader, another we call it the mag swipe. This is a magstripe insert, and this is, we found that people had it on their lanyards, and they didn't want to take their lanyard off to swipe in. But I'll pass these 2 modules out, and the main thing to see on the back here, and we'll take a reader off, but you can see it's a common footprint, common plug-in connection on the back. So I'll pass these 2 out. So the whole value proposition, flexible, adaptable, scalable, that was, this is kind of the marketing stuff that goes behind it, but truly it is, you can change it to fit your needs. If you want to program it at the door today and link it wirelessly or hardwire to an access control system, ours or anybody else's for the most part, in the future we give you the flexibility to change from one way of programming the lock to another in the future. And right here we have this is a standalone lock. These locks are wireless, one of which I have linked to BrightBlue. Adaptable, you can change it. Scalable, those are kind of the messages. So this kind of goes into the benefits of access control in general. Obviously, you can do keypad, you can do proximity, and we give you the option of being able to easily program in codes at the door. So, right now, 13579 pound is a valid entry, right? If I present a card, that's not enrolled, I can put in a simple programming code, 97531 star, goes into programming mode, 3 star to add a user. I'll just give this 333666 star as the number I'm associating with this. If I hit star again, that would be a PIN code. If I present a card, I've now enrolled this card. So that card now has access to this door. I mean, it's a really simple type of sequence. And
that number you gave is just a random number?
The 333666. That's just a random number that's associated. Typically, what I would do is if I have a stack of cards, I would use the encoded ID. 25420 is the encoded ID on here. But now, XYZ employee leaves or loses the card. I don't want that card to have access anymore. All I do is I put 97531 star, put it into programming mode. Instead of adding a user with 3 star, I delete a user with 5 star. And I don't need to have this card. I just delete 333666. I delete that user. Do I want to delete any more? No. And now this card is out of the lock and has no access.
Can the end user change those programming codes?
Absolutely. So standard in the box, it comes with standard, factory default codes. And if who's familiar with the CM lock, CMs, King Cobra 2s. So it's actually we've kept the exact same programming sequence from our legacy products. But at any time, if I wanted to change the programming code, I would just put in the programming code 97531 star, put 7 star, and create a new programming code. I could do a code, or I could make this a programming credential. So then I don't have to hit a code every time. I just present this and then present a card, you know, do the sequence. So, you know, from a basic lock, you know, keypad lock type of system, I could keep it as simple as that. I'm not managing time zones or audit trails or anything like that, but simple access control on the lock. Maybe that's all I need today on, you know, on that closet. And then in the future, if I find that I need to add, you know, time zones, maybe I want that bathroom to automatically unlock in the morning, lock down at night. I can simply, with a simple piece of software, SMS Select or SMS Express, and a little handheld device, there's a little USB port down here, and I can load information into it and download information in the future. You know, integrated solution, the AD series is truly an open architecture type of product. So basically anything that accepts a Wiegand input, anything that you can wire in a Schlage reader or an HID reader can accept the AD series lock in an online state, in real-time communication. So out of the box, even when you purchase the lock as a standalone program at the door keypad lock, we ship it with a door contact built into the lock that we have here, and then the contact would be on the side of the door. We ship it with a request to exit motion sensor in the inside lever. So it comes standard with even a standalone offline lock, and then the ability to upgrade that at any time to an online system. Well, let's start with CM. The CM lock is what I just demonstrated. Program it at the door through the keypad or with a little handheld device with a USB connector, you know, with software. But you program the lock and everything is stored at the door. You know, on the secure side, on the inside of the door, all of the information is stored right here, and it decides if, you know, I'm allowed in or not, okay? Then the AD250 is a mag stripe only type lock where, you know, in a campus environment, you know, students come in, they're issued a card that'll get them into the rec center and into their, you know, their building and their room. And it's managed like a hotel function type lock, like at this hotel, for instance. They issue you a card at the front desk, they encode that mag stripe card, and then it programs the lock. The mag stripe actually programs the lock. The VIP, anybody familiar with the VIP? The legacy hardwired lock? The VIP was a lock that did a lot of what the AD did. It combined the reader, the door contact, the REX, the electronic lock all in one, and it was 4 wires back to an access control system. It was a hardwired network online solution. And then the WA series was our wireless lock, where you combine the REX, the door contact, the reader, everything into the lock, and then wirelessly transmit that back to the access control system, ours or anybody else's. So these were our legacy series, and they were products. You know, they were part of different acquisitions. CM and CL, that was part of Locknetics WA. We acquired a company about 15 years ago called Wireless with a Y. But they had different looks and feels. You know, all the different locks were different. And if you wanted to go from a standalone CM lock to a wireless lock, you had to take that lock off the door, a completely different hole pattern on the door, mount a totally new lock, hope that, you know, it covers all your holes, or get some kind of plate, you know, to cover up what you have there existing. What we've done with the AD series is this can be any one of those locks. We've made it so you can migrate from a standalone program at the door solution to a wireless solution just by purchasing a little antenna that you pop on the back of the lock. So this lock right here is standalone. It has this little cover plate. If I wanted to upgrade this to a wireless lock, all I would have to do is take this off, pop a little wireless module on that you can buy from Access, just the module, and a new cover plate. And the inside of your lock would then just look like that. So you can go from standalone to wireless just by purchasing this one component. All the hole pattern, everything else is the same. And then you can put online access, real-time access control. You know, it makes it a lot more flexible of where you can put it. And if you need a wireless lock right now, you could just go with a wireless lock right now. And this right here is just a little indicator light. You know, if you're in a lockdown situation, it'll blink red to let the people inside know that door's locked down, I don't have to stick my head out. So there's things that you can order from the factory, you know, so if you need a certain type of lever, you know, you need a mortise lock versus a panic trim. And then there's a lot of things that we can actually configure at the door. we've made a new little utility in this. This is the handheld device, and when you plug into that door, you can instantly take a look at what your battery status is if you're battery powered. You can change the lock from functioning one way to another. And we'll go into some, office function. You can have a button in here that just has, you just hit, there's a button that you can buy a plate with a button that you hit that, it'll just unlock the door. Or you hit it, it'll lock the door back down. So those are things that you can actually change in the field. Or like a mag stripe reader. If anybody's in the past ordered a CM lock with a mag stripe reader and your card data's on track 2, but you need it on track 3, you need to buy a new reader, and a new module. With the AD series, you can just go in there, select track 2 or select track 3, change it, save, and you're done. So you, in the field, can modify and adapt your lock. And this is the beautiful part number right here. AD 400 CY 70 MG SPA 626 PD C123 RH 4B. Now, does anybody see anything familiar from that part number? Maybe PD. Does anybody know what PD stands for? Schlage mechanical locks. What we've done with the AD series is, since it wasn't part of acquisitions, we've aligned the part number to actually be consistent with the Schlage part numbers. 626 finish, SPA Sparta lever. So RHO is the Rhodes lever, and a lot of those parts are actually interchangeable between the locks. And then some latches and back sets, things like that as well. But we have a really neat tool that we'll kind of show you part of the tool later, that you can go online. We have an 80 series product selector. You select what reader you want, select what finish you want, what the lock looks like, and it changes the picture in front of your eyes. And then at the end, it gives you a 2-page PDF cut sheet with a picture of that lock, the part number that you just made, and you can submit that to Access, and they can give you, your price for that exact lock. So here's the 4 different classes. This is just kind of a little exercise. So tell me what's the AD200?
Is standalone.
Standalone program at the door. Okay. So offline, computer programmable. So you can use a computer, but with a handheld. AD250. Anybody? Mag stripe, like a hotel function lock. So the offline computer programmable, but the access is encoded on the credential, on the mag stripe card, rather than being stored on the lock. 8300. What's that?
It's got all the capabilities, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pad, mag stripe.
Well,
How does it communicate back?
It's hardwired back.
Hardwired. 4-wire hardwired back.
And that's
Networked.
no batteries in it, so it's
Yeah, and one thing to note is, if you have an AD200 and you're sick of changing batteries, bring power to the door, 2 wires, and you can power any one of them at any time. And then what's AD400?
wireless.
Wireless. Very good. And this goes through the exercise one more time, just kind of showing you which legacy product has been converted. So this shows you what the inside discussion looks like. Basically, you can get it with or without that little button. This, I can tell that this is a classroom function because it doesn't have a button. If I wanted to toggle, an office function or a privacy function, then it would need a button. But the AD200, 250, and 300 are all the same look and feel, and then the wireless lock has this backplate on it. Okay, and the only difference also, other than the cover, is a little module that looks like this. So basically, there's a little plug in here. This is the AD300 communication module. Okay, and all it is it's really just 2 wires going back to the access control system for the data, for the information, and then 2 for power. And you just pop that on there, you put the same cover right back on, and then you have a new type of lock. And I'll pass this out so you can see the little module. So that's for the AD300, and you see that doesn't take up any more room. The wireless module is a little taller because it has an antenna in it. And then we give you another cover plate with it as well. Okay, so we kind of went through this. Which one's wired to access control? Which one's hardwired? 8300, which max 5,000 users. So on the 8300 and 400, there's no maximum of users because it's just a pass-through device, and the access control system makes all the decisions. The 8200, we used to have with our CM 2,000 users, 2,000 audits. With the 8200, it's 5,000 users, 5,000 audits at the door. Uses 900 megahertz. 400. And that's the frequency that we use. So we by design have a 902 to 928 spectrum for our frequency, our wireless frequency. It gives us 200 feet through, up to 200 feet through walls range around our antennas, which is, which is further than, Wi-Fi and some of the other technologies that are out there.
How far was that again?
200 feet through walls, and up to 1,000 feet, actually up to 4,000 feet line of sight, or 200 feet through walls. Offline lock, users limited by access control. So that's the 250. Program with handheld device or the keypad, 200. Connects direct or via PIB, 300. So the 300 kind of gives it away, but all it is, the PIB is a panel interface board. It's basically what converts our language, of how we somebody puts a card reader, it goes 4 wires either directly into one of our access control systems, like Bright Blue. It just goes 4 wires directly in. You don't need anything else. Some of our panel partners have also integrated it, and designed it so that they can understand. Panel interface board is what makes us open architecture. So if you have a Millennium panel or something else that accepts a Wiegand input, through that panel interface board, we can support 2 AD locks. So it's just 4 wires to the panel interface board, and then a Wiegand output from there into the system. Okay? And really, it looks really just like that. This is the wireless module, so this is a wireless one. But if we had that other module that I passed around in here, this would pretty much be a panel interface board. And it's just Wiegand outputs on the bottom. So, really, it wires just like a standard access control system. And if you haven't wired that many systems or anything, it's not very intimidating. We have the wiring diagrams and everything are very clear. Programmed with handheld device only, 8250, and then connects via PIM 400. That's actually this one that I just picked up. It's a little antenna in a box, and within 200 feet you link your locks, and it can support from 2 to 16 wireless locks per antenna. Okay. So you asked about chassis. It's available, what we have cylindrical on display here, but it's available in cylindrical, mortise with a deadbolt. It has an 88 throw on the inside, as well as a 993 exit device trim. And then the exit device trim, we've actually made our exit trim a lot more compatible than our previous models. The CM lock would only bolt up to a Von Duprin 9899. The 993 trim, it'll bolt up to a 22 device. It'll bolt up to the Falcon 25, which is a really nice device as well. And then it also bolts up to some competitors' Panics, like the rim device of a Sargent, I think Corbin, Dorma, the major brands that are out there. So more flexibility there. And then the function, and this is really a facet, you can actually select which function you want in the lock with the handheld device, so you can change it in the future. But a classroom storeroom is just, what I have here, no button on the inside. I present a valid code or card, it gets me in, and then it relocks after 3 seconds. You can program, toggle cards in as well. It's pretty simple to put in a toggle card. But if you want a little button that, you're on an office, you come in, you open the door, you just want to toggle it open for the whole day. That's what the 50 office function, and again we went with Schlage nomenclature, 70 function, 50 function, 40 function for the privacy. That's if you have like a single occupancy restroom. You go into the bathroom, you hit that button, it'll lock other people's cards out until you walk out and break the door contact. And then it'll go back into its regular state. And then apartment function was developed again for that mortise with deadbolt primarily. But that's when, if you're in an apartment and you walk out, you know, to go take your laundry to the laundromat or whatever, we didn't want people to get locked out. So what happens is when you hit the Rex and open the door, it actually unlocks the outside reader, and you have to, you know, either hit a button or do a sequence to close that door, to lock it back up. These are the different reader modules. So, you know, I passed around the mag stripe with keypad and the mag swipe with keypad. That's what's going around. But you can also get that without keypad, like right here. We have multi-tech, smart only, and prox only with or without keypad. Okay, so if you have smart cards in place and or it's a brand new installation, we recommend to just go straight to smart cards, because that's the latest and greatest technology. It's the most secure. You know, that's what we would recommend starting with. If they have existing, you know, an existing population of prox cards, you know, multi-tech is probably the way to go. But if you go one way, if you start with, you know, one, you could always just buy that module, and then, you know, again, take one off, put the new one on, and you have a completely new product. Okay? So again, you know, the whole idea and, you know, talking about it's a platform and being able to develop new, you know, new reader modules, communication modules, I think it's pretty neat that already within the first year of the launch, we've already come out with a new reader module. And, you know, in the future, if the market demands a fingerprint reader module or something else, you know, we have a platform that can support it. You know, if I wanted to add a new code to here, 97531 star, go into programming mode 3 star to add a user, and, you know, let's make 1425 star. And if I don't present it, when the light goes to the right side, it's looking for a card to associate with that number. If I just hit star, it clears out, and 1425 is now a valid code. So you can do a mix and match of some people have prox, some people have codes, or you can do present a prox card and you have to enter a code. Yeah, either any one of those 3 options. And that's what we would recommend if you have a keypad on there. But some people like to have the keypad to program at the door and then program in just cards, you know, and not use the keypad at all, because it's just, you know, keypads just aren't very secure.
Right.
They, you know, somebody gets their code and then 200 people have that code within a couple days, and then the audit trail shows that the same person was coming in. You know, you lose a lot of your security there. Sometimes it's all you need, you know, but yeah, we have both options. These are the different lever designs. So Rhodes, Sparta, and tubular would be, you know, for our environment, not so much Athens. One thing that I didn't really mention, if you take a look here, cylindrical, key and lever. Mortise, key and lever. And then panic device trim, key and lever. Our Mortise lock actually has a key and lever. It's a new patented technology that Schlage developed for the AD series that supports a key and lever even on the Mortise and panic trim. So, you know, as far as suiting, when you walk down the hallway, you don't have Mortise cylinders, and it gave us a little more room to work with on the aesthetics of the lock as well, because it doesn't take that Mortise cylinder. Yeah, the question about the finishes, you know, so, you know, quite a lot of options that we have, you know, between, you know, they call them cool tones and warm tones, but the aged bronze, which is previously we had 613 in our product portfolio. We've really gone to this 643E kind of across the board, and it's a durable finish. So it has that nice, you know, look and feel of like a 613, but it doesn't wear down. And then in your environment, I mean, 613 can be a nightmare, you know, because it changes right away, and the oils, you know, and especially if you have chlorine or, you know, other elements, you know, the lock can tarnish and look like crap in a couple of weeks or months. You know, as far as warranty on the lock, what we've done is, since we've put so many, you know, new gadgets and goodies into the lock and information that it stores, typically electronic products are warranted 1 year from manufacturing. So if it sits on the shelf for a little while, you know, you can lose a couple weeks or a couple months. With the AD series, what we've done is we warranty it 1 year from installation date. So, rather than having it, losing those couple of months, we have an installation date that once, I forget the exact sequence, but once you plug in the batteries for, 48 hours or something like that, it sets that date, and then you have your warranty from then. So that's a better, better way to do it. Cylinder type, keyway type, you can master key, you can order it master keyed. You can order it handed. It is field reversible, but if you have over 10 locks for the job and you can wait the lead time, it's better to just order them handed, because you have to take some screws off, and basically you just rotate the spring cage.
Or we can send it handed if you like. If you let us know.
Well, yeah. So if you know what the handing is, just ask for it. But if you order it wrong, you can always, reverse it. These are all other things you can order at the factory. The battery pack, if you, on all the locks, 8200, the wireless lock, we get about 2 years, up to 2 years, 70,000 cycles off 4 AA off-the-shelf batteries. No more clip connect, thing like that, off-the-shelf batteries. And we have an 8 AA battery pack option that just extends it a little bit, and you can change that in the field in the future too. So basically, we just send you a little pack that holds the batteries, and then you clip it, but it's just off-the-shelf batteries. There's also, like for the wireless lock, say that your system goes down, for a day. It has some cache memory on it, so it can remember. You can program in your facility code or your bit format of the cards, and it will remember the last 1,000 cards or so that were used on there, and then it'll let those in during a communication failure mode. All right, so let's do this little exercise. What can you tell from this picture? What kind of lock is it? Wireless lock.
And it's a storeroom function, an office function.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's either an office or privacy function, either one. Okay. What can you tell with number 1? Mortise lock. Okay. Mortise, probably Prox or Smart Card, one of those readers with keypad. Then number 2.
Extended battery.
Okay. Yep. 8 AA battery pack.
And it's office or privacy.
Yep. That's right. Number 3. Cylindrical. Pretty easy. Okay. What about number 4? Mortise deadbolt. That's right. It has that little throw right there. And what function, most likely? Office or privacy. Yep. We touched on a lot of these. Power failure mode, fail safe, fail secure, communication failure mode. The wireless wake up on radio. This is a really big one for us. That's new with this series. Is if you have an unlock or a lockdown command for a wireless lock that's battery operated at the door. The way this operates is that typically the lock goes to sleep, and then it wakes up every 10 minutes to check in with the system to see if there's any new changes. And if anything happens at the lock, if I present a card, grab a card. If I present a card, it'll wake up right away and check in with the access control system. So this one doesn't have access. This one, wireless lock, does have access. Okay? So it does that if it's asleep in that mode. As soon as you do anything, open the door, leave, request to exit, present a card, it wakes up. But otherwise, if you're doing a lockdown command or an unlock command, it might be in that asleep mode. What we've done is we've created a new wake up on radio feature that it gives it a secondary heartbeat. And all that heartbeat is looking for is just a lockdown or an unlock command. Okay? So that heartbeat goes down from 10 minutes to 10 seconds. So on average, within 5 seconds, your door will lock down. Okay, and you can actually field select that down to 1 second. So you get almost instant lockdown on a wireless door. And also, if you lock it down and somebody from the inside wants to make sure, they can just hit that lever. It'll wake the lock up and it'll go into lockdown or into unlock. And if you have, say, a time schedule, I want this door to open up at 9 a.m. and lock down at 5 p.m. There's a request to enter right here. So if it hasn't woken up yet, if you hit that request to enter, it actually wakes the lock up. It'll go green, it'll unlock, and then you can go in. And then this right here, if some of you come up later, we can show you this. This is the utility software that you can actually plug in to the panel interface module, to the antenna with the USB, and somebody can be at the door, you know, pushing the levers, pushing the buttons, and you get a report right here, you know, to see feedback that you're getting that. You know, so you know, a lot of locksmiths team up, you know, sometimes with somebody else that, you know, maybe already owns the access control system. You can kind of prove that your part works. You know, that the lock is communicating to the PIM, and then you can troubleshoot to know that there's a wiring issue maybe going further. So, you know, you're comfortable with the lock, you can mount the lock, get them linked. It's a simple link process, and then you know how to troubleshoot it. So this just kind of shows you the handheld device, how it communicates. This is a product that you know, we developed the software loaded onto this device. Okay. This is where you would log in and basically check the battery power, all that kind of stuff. You know, we talked about open architecture. You know, somebody mentioned that you have CM locks. This is completely backwards compatible. So the software, this handheld device, can actually program legacy locks. So legacy wireless locks, legacy CM or CL locks. The same handheld, the same software can program both. And then we have, you know, some things like the I button plus prox, you know, proximity plus the I button. I'll pass this around also. That it's a transition technology that if somebody was using I buttons, it's a technology that's not used as much anymore. We can move them to a smart or a proximity on that, you know, and we have that backwards compatibility of managing both. This just shows you how to change, you know, a communication module from one to the other. We kind of touch base on this. You know, all you're really doing is you take one screw off, you pop in a component, you put a new plate on, and then you've got a new type of lock. This is if you were going from a mag stripe to a proximity. It's just two screws from the back of the lock. You know, the beauty of this is if you're upgrading from a reader or communication technology, you don't have to take the lock off the door. Everything's built in so that you can, everything, you know, 90% of the mechanical electronic platform stays intact, and you just change small little components. You know, this just goes over the different communications, you know, as far as what we're communicating: door position, request to exit, mechanical key override, deadbolt position switch if it's thrown or not thrown. And this is kind of the scale of, usually the migration path is if somebody has an online access control system, they'll put on a wireless lock maybe, or a hardwired lock that integrates into that. If somebody needs just a, you know, prox, you know, standalone application, they can start with the 8200 and then move up to the other one. So, you know, we see a lot of people starting with 8200s, moving to wireless, or going directly to wireless or hardwired right away. This is the cycle testing, you know, as far as impact testing, dust chambers. They had, you know, rain testing, you know, direct rain. You can see actually the rain's coming from both directions on that one. Cycle testing, you know, they have a machine that actually hits all the buttons, makes sure the durability is all good. This is just showing the certifications, and those have, FIPS 201, those have been accomplished as well. So this website right here, schlage.com/support, that's our new kind of technical library that anything you need as far as data sheets, you know, templates. You know, if you've got you know, an alarm lock on the door and you want to switch it out and you want to see how it's going to cover and what the hole pattern is going to be, you know, we have pretty much every major, you know, manufacturer that's out there with overlays, and we have some cover plates if you need them as well. Also, you know, wiring diagrams, all kinds of support documents, not just for the AD series. This is really for even Schlage mechanical product is on there. Our access control systems, there's a lot of different pieces and parts. And one of the really neat pieces that's on there is what we call these how-to videos. And I just downloaded these last night to my computer. Basically everything from cylindrical, what's in the box, door prep, electrical connection, the install, the reader swap, rehanding. You can actually load these onto your handheld device and watch them at the door. You know, this one I pulled up is just to show you what they look like. So this is if you were going to program with SMS Express and you wanted to get comfortable with the software and how to link. This does step by step how to set up your computer, you know, how to plug in every single screen that you'll have to go through, and it's just all little videos that show you all of this. So there's a lot of different tools like that available.
And you don't have to go bouncing all around the website to find this information anymore.
You just go to schlage.com/support, and then
the
you,
website was
and then
before.
yeah, I mean they've completely redeveloped pretty much all of our websites. If they have not yet been, are being redeveloped, and this is kind of the platform of what they've done. You know, and this just kind of shows you, basically goes through the software, how, exactly what to click, and then how to connect to the door. Just basically plugs in right underneath here, and it shows you the screens you'll see on the handheld. I mean, it's a really well done as far as if it's a first time installation or a recap. Everybody forgets certain steps. And that's just how it connects. That's how you connect. You just hit that Schlage button twice, and if you've got a handheld, it'll look for that handheld. Program lock. I mean, they've made it a pretty intuitive, wizard-based kind of way too. Shows you the locks you have to program, and then you go through. And if you want to retrieve an audit, we actually have it set on the HHD that it automatically retrieves and reprograms the lock. So if you've already programmed it once, if you plug in and you have a new door file or an audit to be pulled, it does both for you right away. Or you can double tap the door that it is, and it'll pull that audit for you if you're in a manual mode. Okay? Audit retrieved, and then you just go back to your computer and view your audits. All of these different tools, the product selector tool, cylindrical, mortise, and then reader, function, lever design, builds you this little image, and then you can export it. You can save it to your computer, you can email it to yourself. I mean, I use this tool constantly. And then, there's a lot of other tools, all available, schlage.com/AD-series, or if you just go to schlage.com, for my business, it gets you there pretty quickly, but that's the direct link. It has all this different information on it as well.